Microphone check 1 2 1 2. MagMongoSlade's in the bed. What you gonna do? Did I say I was in the bed? I should have said I was back. All right. See, that's why I didn't. That's why I really don't like rap right there. That's why I'm not a big fan of the rap stuff. Time commentaries. This is our long form video where we do these twice a week, Thursdays and Sundays usually. That really didn't have anything on the docket today, and considering I didn't have anything really to talk about, we're just going to talk about the Warner Brothers Discovery stuff that they've been floating around for the last couple of hours, and we're going to get into it. First, two things. One, how's the audio? Let me know how the audio is in the comment section below before I really get started, because if it sucks now, it's probably going to suck for the rest of the show. So if it's something I can do to fix it, let's do it quickly. Second, there was a big issue with Dynamite, which I completely forgot about until I think the middle of the day. I went back and listened to the video, because sometimes I do listen to my own videos. And I noticed something was missing from my sharp analysis from the show, which is, where the hell was Edge and Christian? After last week's great angle, great in quotation marks, where Shayna Wayne clocked Edge with the belt, cost him the TNT title, there was no follow-up. I don't think there was any follow-up on Collision either. So Christian didn't come on the show to crow about his victory. Edge didn't come on the show to cry about his defeat. Shayna Wayne didn't show up to explain her actions. Nobody did anything. We just did wrestling. We just did wrestling, more wrestling. That's all we did. How do you have a storyline that you built up as, the end of a 40-year friendship, and this was 23 years in the making or some nonsense like that, and then you don't follow up? For starters, you end the match with Shayna Wayne interfering. The next is you don't even follow up the next week. There is no follow-up to that. What on earth were you thinking? That is booking malpractice 101. To not follow up on what supposedly is a great angle that took place on your show, and you do not have any follow-up for it. And the fact that nobody is even talking about this, I haven't seen anybody ask the question about where the hell Edge and Christian were, where the hell Shayna Wayne was, why Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne aren't back. I get they're trying to sell it so they're still out, but you would think they would have did a video package or something. Like, Edge couldn't send a video package in or something. Nothing. No follow-up whatsoever. That's just booking malpractice, man. I'm surprised, greatly surprised to see that the numbers actually went up for this show. I think last week was like 820 something. This week was like 850. That seems to be about the average. It's somewhere between those two numbers, depending on whether the NBA is kicking their ass or not. So apparently the NBA was it on last night, I guess? But anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest real quick, because how embarrassing is that I watched that whole show and was not thinking about Edge and Christian once, because they didn't show a flashback or nothing, so I forgot all about it. And it wasn't until I think I was listening to a clip from Cornette's show when he was talking about the Edge and Christian match, and I was thinking about it like, man, what did they do on this show to follow up on that? And they didn't. They didn't follow up on it at all. They did literally nothing. That's unfortunate. AEW fans, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about them not having any follow-up whatsoever to a big storyline? And this is supposed to be a company that says that they are doing great stories. WWE never would have done a storyline like that and then just had no follow-up and no video package or nothing. Not even Edge will talk next week about it. Nothing. Not even a, Christian Cage, laughs at, Edge's downfall or anything. Just nothing. It's just embarrassing. How embarrassing is that? Okie dokie. We're going to talk about Warner Brothers and WWE apparently because a lot of people are talking about it, so I might as well talk about it too. I think I mentioned it maybe a little bit on the show last night, which is probably this afternoon. I'm really kind of thinking about how to format these shows better because I really don't like putting out too much content in one day. It seems to like hurt. I don't know. Maybe the live stream is harmed by the reviews earlier or something like that. I don't know. But I try not to put out too much. And that video yesterday was an hour. And I still forgot to mention Agent Christian. I only mentioned the people who are on the show. So, I don't know. But we're going to talk about Warner Brothers and WWE because apparently Meltzer and Nick Hausman and a bunch of other people are now talking about it. So, I guess we got to talk about it too. AJ3 says Jericho is out to prove that he can survive without WWE. Remember when Stephanie cut that promo on Raw years ago about without WWE no one would survive? Jericho out to prove her wrong. I don't think anybody remembers that promo, and it was likely in character, so it doesn't really matter that much. Jericho is fine. Remember he said he talked to Vince before he went to Japan, and Vince told him it would be good for him to do the Japan thing. And that's what led him to go on to AEW because he left WWE, went to Japan, started working with Kenny Omega, becoming friendly with those guys, and then ended up on the ground floor of AEW. So, and plus Jericho already knows that the carpet's rolled out for him if he wants to come back. So, it ain't really too big of a deal. All right. I don't want to be here all night. I kind of want to do 45 minutes of this and then call it a day. All right. So F4W Online, which is Meltzer and them, says WWE back talking with Warner Brothers Discovery. CM Punk may have opened a, quote, shut door. It says WWE Raw could still end up on TNT or TBS. Negotiations between WWE and Warner Brothers Discovery were thought to be dead, but our own Dave Meltzer is reporting that CM Punk has potentially, quote, opened up what may have been a shut door. Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio, they would like to get close to $400 million. I don't think they're going to get $400 million, but they're shopping it around, and Warner Bros. Discovery obviously being one of them, and Warner Bros. Discovery seemed to be dead, and it's not dead. That's the basic thing with Punk there and everything like that. It's not dead. It's not like people should go, oh my God, this and that with AEW. There's no way of knowing anything more than that. There's no way of knowing anything more than they did have a meeting, and it's not dead. WWE, as far as the Raw deal, the belief is they're finalizing pretty soon. So, one Bill Phil is leaving. He's making it happen, guys. One Bill Phil is making it happen. He's making it shake. He's making it rain, baby. Yeah, that CM Punk is a young man. He's very liked by that David Zaslav. He's a very kind young fella. He likes that old One Bill Phil. Bullshit. Come on, man. It was never dead. Because we've been talking about this for the whole, I don't know, we've been talking about it for weeks now. And I believe Nick Khan was talking about it. And I believe that Shapiro, what's his name, Mark Shapiro, was talking about it. That essentially they're waiting to see what happens with the NBA. And one of the big things one of the big places in terms of NBA is Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers likely is talking to WWE. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they be talking to WWE? It was never dead. It's never going to be dead until WWE actually makes a decision. Or until Warner Brothers Discovery actually makes a decision. At that point, it's dead. Until then, almost all options are on the table. This is business. Furthermore, I doubt it has too much to do with CM Punk. I know that everybody likes to think that wrestlers are a big deal, but I don't typically think that multi-billion-dollar decisions are being made because an executive likes a pro wrestler. All right, so let's for a counter, let's talk to Nick Hausman and House of Wrestling. He has an article up Everything we know about the rumored Warner Bros. Discovery WWE talks, this is an exclusive. It's an exclusive, guys, which means you can only get it from him. Let's see what he says. I spoke about what some of he said he spoke with higher ups WWE source yesterday morning and was told that the information was, quote, very inaccurate. One of the details pointed to as inaccurate was the internal schedules of Levesque, Khan, and Shapiro, which apparently did not put them together in New York on Monday. I guess that's where the meeting supposedly was held. Doubt was also cast that Punk had any kind of influence to cause someone like Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav to abandon support of AEW and back WWE. Well, I could have told you that. This morning, much of what I reported on yesterday's show was reported elsewhere as fact. I don't know. What does he mean by much of what I reported? How about you be specific? Oh, okay. So PW Insider. All right. So let's jump over to PW Insider. Kind of a little bit interception. So Mike Johnson, top WWE execs meet with Warner Bros. Discovery about potential Raw deal. Full details. WWE continues to work on locking in a new media rights partner for Monday Night Raw. PW Insider can confirm this Monday. TKO Mark Shapiro, as well as WWE's Nick Khan and Paul Levesque, were in New York City at the Warner Bros. Discovery headquarters, meeting with Warner Bros. Discovery executive Bruce Campbell about potentially moving Raw to the Warner Bros. Discovery family. Campbell holds the position of Chief Revenue and Strategy Officer. That word revenue. Oh, revenue and Warner Brothers? Those things don't go together. We'll talk about that in a second. We are told that the WWE contingent met with Campbell for several hours Monday morning, with at least part of the meeting taking place in a conference room, usually reserved for David Zaslav. Levesque was at Raw later that night in Cleveland. Obviously, if a deal were to be made between the two entities, there would be massive ripple effects for professional wrestling. Specifically because Warner Bros. Discovery's TNT and TBS have been home for AEW's programming since the fall of 2019. The belief is that AEW's current agreement with Warner Bros. Discovery runs through the end of 2024. Tony Khan noted that he met with Warner Bros. Discovery on 12/12, that would be Tuesday, during Thursday's Ring of Honor Final Battle Media call. That would have been the day after the WWE meeting. So WWE met them on Monday. Tony Khan came in on Tuesday. With SmackDown going to the USA and NXT shipping to CW, the WWE now seeks a higher increase in media rights for Raw. Paul Levesque and Nick Khan were in Los Angeles several weeks ago meeting with potential partners, and it is believed Warner Bros. Discovery was one of the potential partners they were meeting with at that point, as well with Amazon also potentially internally within WWE at that point. We are told by WWE sources that there are still other suitors. Okay? Warner Bros. Discovery's goal of late has been to lock in the rights to the NBA, although David Zaslav has publicly stated that the company, quote, doesn't need the NBA. We will see soon enough what Warner Bros. Discovery wants out of pro wrestling. Okay, so wait a minute. They said the House of Wrestling says that the damn thing didn't happen. Hold on. So PW Insider is saying that the meeting occurred, correct? All right. So we're going back to House of Wrestling, and it says one of the details pointed to as inaccurate was the internal schedules of Levesque, Khan, Shapiro, which apparently did not put them together in New York on Monday. Doubt was also cast that Punk had the kind of influence to cause someone like Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav to abandon support of AEW to back WWE. Yeah, so he's saying that the meeting didn't happen. So what was in that PW Insider report that we just read that he just told me is inaccurate? It proves him correct. I don't know. Are we following this? Can we follow this, please? What is being said here? So let's go back to what he was saying. He says this morning, I guess it's Thursday morning. I hate when people do that. Like, assume people are reading it in the future. So you could put the date on the morning of Thursday, December 14th. You could do when you're writing. I know they think of immediacy, like they're talking to you right now, but there's no bigger pet peeve for me than people saying this morning or this afternoon or last night as if we all are on the same page. Some people might be listening to this in the year 2000. We don't know when people are listening to these videos. For the record, it's December 14th, a Thursday, okay? And it's 8:15 at night. So if I say this night or tonight, which, sometimes people do, that's what I mean. But he put this morning. Please go back and correct yourself, sir, and put December 14th. Much of what I reported on yesterday's show was reported elsewhere as fact, eliciting an unprompted text from the same WWE sources saying, "This is all very strange. During a follow-up phone call, it was relayed to me that WWE executives may be, quote, kayfabing those in the company while altering their internal schedules, but that was just speculation. If these talks are happening, they are protecting it at the highest level." Wait a minute. Why would you kayfabe your schedule? It's not that important, is it? Is it? Who are you trying to hide from? That's what I want to know. You can't go talking to David Zaslav in New York. You can't do that. You got to be in the Bahamas. You got a place in Wyoming to go to. Who are they going to kayfabe and why? Why? That don't make sense. Why would you need to kayfabe like your assistants and, various riffraff in the office? But sure enough, a lot of the details would definitely be kept close to the vest because they wouldn't want anybody talking about it. And here he goes again. Earlier today. What day exactly? What if I'm reading this on a Sunday? Am I supposed to believe that this happened that Sunday? No, it happened on a Thursday. Earlier today, Dave Meltzer reported on Wrestling Observer Radio that Punk will be in LA this week for a house show and will likely be meeting with Warner Bros. Discoveries while in town. It is worth noting that WWE's Holiday Live Event Tour show in LA does not occur until Saturday, December the 30th. We are told by those close to Punk he is in town to do the house show. They did not respond when pressed about potential meetings. So why would he be in December 2 weeks early? Why would he be in town 2 weeks early? Oh yeah, I'm here for the house show on December the 30th. It's like, brother, do you have CTE? Do you know what day it is? It is not the 30th, sir. It is nowhere near the 30th. It's not even the 28th. Not even the 20th. It's nowhere near it. Lastly, the vibe we have been given is that AEW is in danger. Watch yourself. Oh, not. Watch yourself. AEW's in danger. I'm going to try to be professional and get through this, okay? AEW's in danger of not being renewed by Warner Bros. Discovery for TNT or TBS. One scenario that was given to us was that WWE Raw would move to TNT or TBS, and that AEW will be moved to Discovery. What? Two higher-up sources in AEW that I spoke with said that was news to them and not something they had heard. Another person said, only person who really knows is Zaslav, I guess. Last month, House of Wrestling exclusively reported that Tony Khan passed on talks with the CW about bringing ROH to their network. His reasoning for passing on the talks was that he wanted to take ROH and AEW to the market together early in 2024 when AEW's TV rights became available. That means that Khan has yet to secure a new deal with Warner and is open to taking his content elsewhere. House of Wrestling is working tirelessly, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? What is this? What is this? What is this mess? All right. What are they doing, man? What are you saying here? Uh, okay, let's talk about this. For starters, no trade magazines are talking about this. All right, no Variety, no Deadline, no. So it's probably not real. Okay, like wrestling media creates its own universe. I mean, they do. They have their own. They have their own kayfabe. If we're being honest. If something like this was really happening, you would see it in the trade magazines. You know, TV. They be talking about it. I don't see it on Deadline's website. I looked at Variety earlier. I'm gonna look again while we're talking. I don't see anything about Warner Brothers Discovery talking to WWE. I don't see anything about such things. So how do the wrestling media know if the guys who get paid the bigger bucks have no idea? How do they figure it out? The only wrestling thing I see on Variety is about Iron Claw. A movie that I kind of want to see, but I probably won't go to the theaters to see it. Theaters are very, very expensive these days. Very expensive. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here about WWE or Warner Brothers Discovery. Yeah, so it's probably not real. So it's likely horseshit. And Humble 85 has beat me to the point that I was going to talk about on here, and that Warner Brothers Discovery is broke. They in debt. Like they in big bad debt. Now, likely they still have $400 million if that's what WWE wants. They still got that. But they got, here's from CNBC. I'm a little bit of a business guy. Everybody knows that I once a year, I buy some stock and I just hold it. We'll talk about that later some other time. But Warner Brothers Discovery won't be it. I ain't buying no Warner Brothers Discovery stock. I can tell you that much. Warner Brothers Discovery stock sinks 19% as ad revenue falls. Zaslav warns of a generational disruption. This is from November the 8th. So this is a month ago, somewhere about. Warner Bros. Discovery reported third quarter earnings before the bell Wednesday. The company posted a decline in ad revenue, and David Zaslav said that the media industry is going through a, quote, generational disruption. Oh, brother. So this ain't looking too good. It ain't looking too good. Warner Brothers is broke. Let's talk about it. Warner Brothers Discovery shares fell Wednesday. What was Wednesday? Oh yeah, Wednesday the 8th. Okay, so they did it right. All right. After the company reported a decline in advertising revenue, a wider than expected loss, and lackluster streaming service subscriber numbers. Here's what the company reported for the quarter ended September the 30th versus analyst estimates. Losses per share were 17 cents versus 16 cents. Versus 6 cents expected. So they lost more than double. Hell, more than not triple, nearly triple what was expected. The revenue was $9.98 billion, which they nailed that exactly from what it looks like. Warner Bros. Discovery reported a net loss of $417 million for the third quarter, or 17 cents per share, an improvement from the $2.31 billion or 95 cents per share the loss the company reported a year ago in the same quarter. Revenue rose 2%. Times are hard, man. Times are bad. The company stock closed down 19%. The slide comes after a media rally late last week driven by Roku and Paramount earnings. Rival media giant Disney is set to report earnings after the closing bell Wednesday. Warner Brothers Discovery results reflected dire trends in the legacy media industry. Ad revenue and Warner Brothers Discovery's TV networks fell 12% compared with a year earlier, reflecting a decline in audiences for general entertainment and news programming, as well as soft ad trends in the U.S., the company said. Oh, brother. Oh, boy. So, It looks like nobody's going to get Warner Brothers Discovery. Okay? It looks like nobody's going to get it because they're going to go out of business or get bought. All right? It ain't looking good. It ain't looking good. It ain't looking good at all. This sucks. Don't put your money in this. The company also warned of a number of obstacles heading into 2024, including sluggish ad revenue and ongoing impacts from the actors' strike. This is a generational disruption we're going through. Going through that with a streaming service that's losing billions of dollars is really difficult to go on the offense, CEO David Zaslav said during the earnings conference call. The third quarter marked the full first quarter since Warner Bros. Discovery launched its flagship streaming service Max in May, which merged content from HBO Max and Discovery Plus. We're going to skip through some of this because it's too much. Warner Bros. Discovery also made headway on paying off its debt load, with $2.4 billion of repayments made during this quarter. The company said it has $45.3 billion in gross debt. They are likely going to end up filing for bankruptcy. That part was mine. The whole bankruptcy part. That's me. That's not from the article. I'm pretty sure you look at $45 billion in debt and no ad revenue coming in, brother, you're going to bankruptcy. All right, that's just. It's just how long before we get there? A year, 2 years. It's happening. It's not good. Here it says $47.8 billion in debt. This was on the 3rd of August. It ain't looking good, dog. It's looking bad. Now, with no ad revenue coming in, which is crazy because they got the NBA currently, right? So how are they? Well, they must not be making any money on I hate to say it, AEW. AEW has got to be like one of the top products that they're pushing right now on their television shows, right? And the ratings have stagnated. I'm not going to blame AEW completely. Let's not get too ridiculous. It's not that, it's just all AEW's fault. But remember, they basically give AEW credit for anybody who watches TNT or is it TBS on the entire day of Wednesday. If you watch a commercial on Wednesday, you basically watch Dynamite. And I don't know. It's not looking too good. The Warner Bros. Discovery does not look like it's going to be a good TV partner because it's like they're going to get bought up or be in bankruptcy sometime soon. I think Raj Giri is one of the folks who has talked a lot about WWE and FX and maybe Disney having something to do with this. I know Eric Bischoff was one of the first people talking about Warner Bros. Discovery. We're going to talk about that in a second. As soon as I find the article, I'm just going to admit that I got lost on this. So Bischoff tweeted that Warner Bros. Discovery interest in WWE goes back to the announcement of the sale of WWE. I'm convinced Warner Bros. Discovery was engaged in the bidding process. This didn't start with CM Punk, but no doubt that adding him to the roster was fortuitous. For more detail, watch Strictly Business dropping soon. So Bischoff was one of the people talking about this a while back. If we're going to be fair. So I don't see this as being the horror that everybody is talking about. Look, these things, it's tough, okay? It's tough to tell because Warner Bros. Discovery is losing boatloads of money. And WWE is a pricey product. Can they make that money back by signing WWE? Or was WWE basically just going to eat the corpse of Warner Bros. Discovery? There's no telling. Brother, NBA on NBC would be cool. Well, it used to be on NBC when I was a kid. The NBA is going to snatch all that up with the media. Yeah, whatever Warner Brothers got They're going to try to give it to the NBA because that's where they're more likely to get their ad revenue back. You're probably not going to get your ad revenue back fucking around with wrestling, if we're being honest. Wrestling is just not the revenue juggernaut that the NBA is. If you're going to spend tons and tons of millions of dollars, and I'm guessing that $400 million will be per year for maybe 5 years. So that would be $2 billion or something to that effect for Monday Night Raw. Look, Warner Brothers could probably afford it, but can WWE bring that revenue back will be the question. Usually they keep very close to the vest what they generate for their partners because the partners want it that way. So they don't talk about how much money they generate for NBC or something like that, which, probably could be good, but they don't. It's like they try to keep it close to the vest what they were doing for Fox, even though Fox ended up saying in the end that they can't really make that money back with wrestling. And this is the number one wrestling show on the planet Earth right now, and they can't make that money back. So the question then comes, like, how is Warner Brothers going to make that money back? Why invest in wrestling? You already got a wrestling product, and it doesn't draw. And I'm not saying that WWE isn't a better product. I'm just saying it's the same shit, basically. Now, you have built-in fan base, which is a huge difference. But from an ad revenue perspective, it's still just wrestling. And wrestling it's going to be slightly better because it's WWE. But is it substantially better? Is it better enough to justify how much money you would have to spend to get WWE on your network? That's the big business question. And something is telling me that it's probably not. Everybody knows I love me some WWE. Likelihood, really. So my bad. But it was a difficult time. I don't think anybody can accept that WWE is going to be able to bring that money back. It'll take a lot of money because we're not just talking about making back all the money that you gave them, but also posting a substantial profit. That's going to be the big question right there. Can WWE generate a profit for the company that they're working with? And that's going to be a big question because you already got a wrestling product. Why do you need another one? Now, even if you bump AEW, which will happen, you can't coexist. There's no coexistence. If WWE signs a deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, AEW is off the network. And I mean they're off all of the networks, which is probably going to include Discovery. And so that would mean Rampage, Collision, everything is gone. And you might be able to find a place for Dynamite, but trying to find a place for all of your shows and Ring of Honor, come on, likely not. All right. I saw people joking about what will happen to AEW. Did the audio issues correct itself? Because anyway, people are joking about what to do with AEW. Some people think that, they could just go to USA. Nope, because SmackDown's on USA. They're not going to do that. They can just go to Fox. It's like, well, look, Fox had a problem with WWE because they couldn't make the money back. AEW makes less money than WWE and is even more disliked in the marketplace. It's got to be, with the blood and the violence and the cursing and all that stuff. Yeah, I don't think so. So, but Tony Khan is resourceful, and he has billions and billions of dollars. There's no doubt that if something happens, the worst happens, and WWE steals, swipes AEW's network, that they won't just find somewhere else. They'll land on like Amazon or Apple or something. It's not going to die. It's not absolutely over for AEW. Now, they might have to shrink, which is what I would expect, because they expanded way too fast to begin with. They went from having one show that people barely watched to having two shows. Now they got three. It's like, wait a minute. You barely was getting people to watch your one show. So AEW will be fine. If now by fine, I mean they will continue to exist. Whether you will be able to watch it on cable or not is going to be an interesting question, because it may force AEW onto a streaming service, which I don't know if that'll be good for them. I don't know if that'll be bad for them. But it'll be interesting to see, AEW on Apple TV. AEW on Apple TV or something like that. Speaking of which, they announced the NXT deal with CW, and then almost immediately, I think like a couple of hours later, NWA started uploading shows into the CW app. But I think most people now expect the NWA CW deal to be over by the time NXT comes over. So what they're doing is essentially they're going to run NWA on the app, and then as soon as NXT hits, NWA is probably going to get bumped off. That sucks. It's probably not a good thing, but that's looking like that's what's going to occur on the CW front. Now, when it comes to AEW, again, they'll just get a streaming deal. So it's not like they're going to go out of business. It may be harder to find, much like TNA did. Like when TNA lost Spike, they didn't go out of business, but it certainly became hard to find. And when the product is hard to find, you might as well go ahead and get rid of it, because this is the big reason why I didn't want WWE to go behind a paywall and do streaming. It's hard to get to the product at that point. You're basically begging people to pirate the show, because you're asking people to pay for it. And then the quality of the show is likely not going to improve. And so what do? You screw people over? I don't know. But AEW could definitely land on another streaming service or something like that during their difficult times, and maybe try to wait it out. Because if WWE signs like a 5-year deal with Warner Bros. Discovery or something like that, then you could probably wait it out on another network. Let me make sure my audio is okay. Maybe try to wait it out. It's popping. It's got that pop thing going. What's that about? Hello. Let's see here. Audio. Hello. There we go. Hopefully it improved now. Anyway, I think AEW should probably prepare. They should be preparing anyway, just in case WWE makes this deal. They should be preparing for this. Now, I'm not saying this is likely, but everybody's at the table already. It's not a question of can this happen to you. It's like it can happen to anybody. And you should already be shopping your product. If Warner Brothers Discovery is not talking about giving you any extra money, why wait until you're in the home stretch of your contract, which ends, I guess, at the end of 2024? You should be poking around right now to see who is interested in pro wrestling and getting those names and numbers. And then maybe, once the NBA do their thing and WWE makes their move, you should be trying to figure out, hey, can we slide in there? And even if it's not Warner Brothers Discovery, or this is Tony Khan's got one-itis. The guys who got one-itis, they look at one girl and He's like Forrest Gump with Jenny. That's Tony Khan, who Warner Brothers discovered. He just got one girl in his heart forever. It's like, nah, man. All your friends at Warner Brothers are gone, as far as I know. So we're in tough times these days, baby. You need to go and find somebody else. Now maybe not Fox, but maybe Fox. Maybe it's not the Fox broadcasting network, but maybe Disney. You can get on FX. FX is owned by Disney, right? Oh yeah, you might be able to get on FX. Maybe you can get on ESPN. I know they teased that Raw might be going to ESPN, which I actually would not hate because ESPN is in every household, and ESPN is a network that everybody has. The only problem I have is I don't like ESPN. Like that's my major concern is my dislike of ESPN. But I wouldn't hate WWE on ESPN. I probably wouldn't hate it on FX. It would be weird on FX. I wouldn't hate it though. I think ESPN is a good fit, due to the more entertainment nature of ESPN as it exists now. Anyway, my problem here is I don't want the show to be moved off Mondays. That's my issue. And ESPN is definitely likely to move it off Mondays because they have football and they have football coverage. So even if they don't got a game, they got the coverage, and the coverage draws. So they would definitely bump Raw off Mondays, and I certainly don't want that. That's one of the things I would actually be pissed off about. There's not much to piss me off, man. You got to work pretty hard to upset me in the business of business. But messing up my Monday ritual, oh my good God. I'll be in a negative mood every week to that contract. Every week of that contract, I'll be pissed off. But if that's what Disney want to pay. If Disney want to pay him for it, then go for it. WG Phil says AEW is trying to hold on to Warner to keep the WCW Nitro delusion alive. I think, excuse me, the Warner connection isn't just because of WCW. It's also because Warner gave them an opportunity when nobody else did. When nobody else wanted to give them a shot, the previous administration and Warner looked at them and gave them an opportunity. Now, it was because Tony Khan's a billionaire. Well, his daddy's a billionaire. And he had friends in high places. But he was still able to get a nice little foothold in the wrestling business through Warner Brothers. And he knows that those networks are still somewhat successful. Again, you can look up those networks and they're the ratings, the average ratings are still pretty solid, despite the fact that they have nothing else on the network that's worth a damn. The same thing with USA. There's nothing else on USA that's worth shit. That's just the nature of cable in general. Almost everything that is new that is made is going to streaming services, or they're just rebooting stuff. Like they rebooting Beverly Hills Cop. I want to kick Eddie Murphy in the nuts for that. In any event, we're not going to talk about that tonight. We'll talk about that some other time, or maybe we'll talk about a little bit of it tonight. I watched the trailer. But streaming services is getting everything. People are not even invested in cable TV no more. They're not, putting forth new product to get people to watch cable television anymore. And pretty much the only thing that draws on cable is sports and fucking wrestling. That's it. And on network television is those goofy game shows. And I guess reality TV still draws. That's why I made a joke about that, the Fox and all this all game shows now. Because it is. It is all game shows now. And just like, VH1, what used to be a music channel, it's all, Baddies East and whatever, Black Ink USA or whatever the fuck. People have started to self-sort into being stereotyped. USA Network is now pretty much Law and Order SVU reruns 24 hours a day. 7 days a week, with the exception of those 3 hours they host Monday Night Raw. And I guess they got Chucky. That's it. I don't know when the last time they were green-lighted a TV show that that was meant for cable television to get people to watch cable television. They're investing all that money into streaming. So if AEW was booted off of television and got into a streaming service, it's still not the worst thing in the world, because streaming is the future. That's what companies want to get into the future. They want to get people into streaming. So it wouldn't be a terrible thing in that regard, but it would definitely affect their visibility, as most people will not spend whatever it's going to cost to get on Amazon Prime or whatever the hell. I don't think anybody want to pay for it. It'd be probably a highly pirated show, and that would be unfortunate for them. Maybe Tony Khan could buy like Triller, or maybe he can buy Fight, and they can just load up their stuff on Fight every week. That way they can curse and do whatever they want. And they'll have like an AEW network, AEW Plus. How about that? How about it? All right, Humble85 says the rumor was WWE was trying to be a more edgier product. I don't think so. Not with the advertiser issues they already have. Not with the success that they already have with the cleaner product that they present already. I don't think they'll ever go back to an edgier product. Not unless they become like if WWE was to go private again, then maybe. But not while they're a publicly traded company. You can forget it. So pretty much that's all we know about the Warner Brothers WWE thing, is that people are talking about the conversation, but none of the official trade magazines of cable and television are talking about it. It's at best an exaggeration, likely, of what's going on. I mean, there's probably some emails being sent. Maybe there's some messengers or people going to talk in person, and there's some packages being thrown around. But I don't see this stuff that they're talking about as being a big deal, because if it was, the trade magazines would be talking about it, not fucking Meltzer and Nick Hausman. Like Mike Johnson or whatever. Otar 20 says streaming services are the best. I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one, brother. A lot of these streaming services blow. They're not good. That's why you lose so much money, because they're not good. They don't really produce that much. I agree, WWE should be a private company. Wrestling companies aren't meant to be public. Jim Cornette calls it a stock scam. I hope before Vince dies, he tries to buy the company back and takes it private. But he's not likely not going to have that kind of capital, not without partners. So they have to be Saudi money, that helps him do that. But he and plus he can't do it for 2 years anyway. And by then he'll be like 80 or 81 or something. So likely not going to happen. But yeah, I agree that WWE should be a private company. If they were a private company, they probably would have continued with an edgier product. They tried, but there's only so much you can do when there's blood and sex and violence on your show. And people don't, especially in today's modern world, they don't want their children watching that stuff. Everything needs to be Disney-fied. But WWE has done a good job of inoculating themselves from some of the worst excesses of our culture. And too many people want wrestling to be cool, and by cool I mean for modern audiences. But wrestling for modern audiences cannot be good. Just like comic books for modern audiences, movies for modern audiences. What people like today and what offends them today is so different from what used to offend people and what used to upset people. Just try reading a comic book written before 2000 and look at how how certain language was used, and certain visual cues were used, and And then start from like 2012 at the very least and start reading forward, and you start seeing a lot of problems. And the same thing that happened with movies. And the same thing happened with television shows. Like, only certain television shows were really like of their time and cool. Most of the other ones became sanitized and, you know, part of the problem. Like, Doctor Who. Yeah, we'll talk about that though. Talk about that some other time. The reason why WWE will never go private again is too many accusations. Nah, the reason they'll never go private again is because they can't afford to buy the company back. You know, it's it's very weird. You know, people couldn't handle Jinder Mahal saying Rook the same against Nakamura. They couldn't. People were upset that Ric Flair just said 18 to 28, no husbands, no boyfriends, and they went on a 3-day rant about it. But they were somehow ready for the Attitude Era. No, you're not. You're sensitive. You can't deal with this. They edited it out too. Like, that's that hurt me to my soul to see that. That's so embarrassing. A TV 14 product, and you edited out. Somebody said that they will have sex with an 18-year-old. Look, again, Ric Flair's clearly just being in character, and he don't really mean that. But honestly, you edited it out. Come on. All you had to do is have the commentators say, "Oh, that old Rick, that old dog, he'll never change," and then just move on. Just act like it didn't happen. If you treat it like it's normal and it's not that big of a deal, then it becomes normal and not that big of a deal. And then if you really had a problem with it, just say, "Look, man, just tone it down a little bit with that." And you tell them that in private, and then you call it a day. Going through the whole editing process makes it seem like it's a bigger deal than it really was. Mercedes asked for a lot of money. That's why we haven't seen her yet. I thought it was because she was injured. She just started working out again. She literally just started working out like last week. She's not ready to wrestle. And I don't think she's done with Japan yet. I think she still got some time on that Japanese contract. She probably won't be wrestling in the U.S. unless she wrestles for AEW. So she won't be wrestling in the U.S. until... I'll be surprised if she shows up before May, because, again, I don't know what her contract is with Japan. I don't know how many matches she got left. So there's no telling. Mandy Rose is never going back to WWE if the company is still public. She's not going back because she makes a lot of money, stripping online. That's pretty much what it boils down to. They would have brought her back by now if she would have stopped doing it or if they'd have talked to her about it. But I think mostly the reason she hasn't been brought back is because she was more of a Vince McMahon project and not really somebody that Triple H really cares about. You can see how he's going through, he's moving heaven and earth to get the people that he actually liked, not the people that fans actually liked. If he was really trying to fix things, Mandy Rose would definitely have been somebody he'd have brought back by now. Because people still feel like she was done wrong. And that's been one of the things that he's always been trying to do, is to patch up a lot of the negative history. But Mandy Rose still got fired for doing not even pornography. She wasn't even doing porn. She was basically just doing racy pictures on her fan time page, and she got fired for that. Look, I'm not saying whether she should have been fired or not. What I'm saying is she was not doing porn, and they could have talked to her about it. They could have worked it out by now. But Triple H would have had to want to talk it out and work it out, and he doesn't want to. Like I said, this is very strange. Not just who is brought back, but who is not brought back is a question as well. In terms of who's probably going to end up getting cut within the next couple of years. When Triple H starts to settle in, you might start seeing a lot of people who are quote unquote Vince McMahon, a lot of the lower level Vince McMahon guys got cut. And we all talked about that already. We all saw that. But I think Mandy Rose was definitely a Vince McMahon project, that he wanted her to be something. He sent her down to NXT to do it. and she actually started getting over, started making a name for herself. And then they used that fan time page. It was like, you got to get rid of you. Got to go. Go, go, go. Vince would have brought her back by now, though. He wouldn't have let her sit at home for a year over this dumb shit. He'd have brought her back. Triple H is kind of like, well, she's still stripping online, guys. It's like, come on. Get out of here. But I haven't heard about her making a lot of money anymore. I know she probably makes a grip, but I think recently was the 1 year anniversary of her release, isn't it? Yeah, it was like the 1 year anniversary of her release recently. So she's been gone a year. I don't think she would have been gone the whole year if Vince was in office. I said in office, but yeah, in office. I don't think she'd have been gone the whole year. I think she'd have been gone for like 2 months, 3 months, and then she'd probably been back. How long was Zelina Vega gone? She was gone for like 4 months, 5 maybe. I think that'd have been around the same time for Vince to figure out what's going on, to probably subscribe to her fan time page, say, look at it, say, hubba hubba, hubba hubba, pal. Girl's got some nice bronze skin. And probably would have brought her back and put the belt on her. Then you'll see Io Sky wrestling on AEW Dark against Riho for the 3,000th time or some horseshit like that. Look, I just know how this stuff will go. Why hasn't he? Well, Velveteen Dream basically got run out of the company. There's not much you can do. You know, and plus he's done a bunch of dumb shit since he left, so he's not even a person that can be rehabbed and brought back. You know, a lot of it was his attitude. You know, him and EC3 arguing about doing cocaine in the bathroom. It was nuts. You know, that was crazy. That was some crazy stuff right there, brother. I'm like, no wonder they was doing crazy shit in Florida. Do you think AJ will show up? No. I think AJ has not wrestled since she left WWE. To my knowledge, she hasn't wrestled. She worked for a little while for WoW, but I think she quit. I think she left that. I don't think she wants to wrestle anymore. She could have wrestled if she wanted to. You know, she could have went and wrestled in TNA if she wanted to. No doubt that once like a Cora Jade or a Roxanne Perez gets to a certain point, they may call her in to do the leader role where she's going to come in to help give them the rub. But I don't think it'll be anytime soon. They're still too young right now. You know, the both of them. All they're doing is taking selfies with CM Punk. But they're going to end up nagging him into getting AJ to work with them, a tag match or something. It's going to happen, but I don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be anytime soon. But I can see them doing like a tag match in a couple of years or something. Because remember, there was a long time where, you know, various other women wrestlers, they were at, like, I know they asked like Layla to come back and do stuff, and she didn't want to do it. I think there's some other women's wrestlers they've asked to come back, and they didn't come back. Well, they probably asked them to come back for the Royal Rumble or something. But yeah, they not likely. But maybe for a tag match or something. Oh, she had a neck injury. Well, that explains it. Zelina Vega was gone for 6 months. I knew it was around that time. I knew it went long. It's a long time to be out, but everything blew over pretty quickly, and they talked it out. Surprise and men. The thing is, who would be a surprise entrant at this point? You know, it would have to be somebody we don't expect. But they've even brought people back. Like they brought back Carlito and stuff like that. Like who could be a good surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble? Unless it would be somebody that was released within the last couple of years that's still active, like a Matt Cardona, or if he doesn't go to AEW, like a Dolph Ziggler, or you know, Mr. Kennedy. Like Mr. Kennedy would be great though, because he's I think that it would be great. Chris Masters and others would be probably great. I don't think we'll see those guys though, because those are the early 2000s guys that they tried to lean on. It didn't quite work out. Maybe Johnny Nitro. Maybe he get a third run in WWE. I really don't consider NWA a barrier to, you know, showing up in the Royal Rumble. AEW, yes. Impact, not to that degree. I definitely think we probably see Mickie James. I think she'll probably. I'm surprised she hasn't back already. When she left Impact, I thought she was coming in. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mickie James doesn't show up in WWE. Her husband works there now, so I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't come back. You know, for one last run. And she's another one that was that was done wrong, I guess you could say, by WWE with the whole trash bag incident that they would likely want to make right for her. So I'm surprised she's not back already. So she'll probably be in the Royal Rumble or something. Um, I think that's probably where the surprises will be on the women's side. I don't think it's gonna be on the men's side. Um, yeah, my joint just crashed. I don't know what's going on here. Can you hear me? So I just logged onto my phone because my tablet just crashed. Can you hear me? Oh, okay, there we go. Can you hear me now? Um, okay, there we go. Yeah, my tablet crashed and it it cut everything off. So my mic, everything cut off. Damn, everything got to be so janky around here. Too bad. I don't know nothing um about electronics and everything, man. I don't know what's happening. So anyway, I think we should be looking more towards not surprises in terms of people from the past, but we should be looking more towards who from NXT is going to be in the Royal Rumble. You know, that'd probably be the best option now because they kind of have blown all the surprises by bringing people back and giving them runs. But maybe you'll see like Trish Stratus and Lita and all of them come back. But these are people that come back all the time. Very unfortunate. But I could see them coming back for that bag, coming back for the bag. Uh, so I don't know what's going on. Let me see. All right. I said I was gonna go do like 45 minutes. Then the damn thing crashed. It crashed twice, as a matter of fact, because that's where it cut off the first time too. I don't know. This new internet is not really working out. You got Xfinity. It seems to suck, but I don't think it's as expensive as T-Mobile is. We couldn't get unlimited internet on T-Mobile. That shit was too expensive. But I guess I'll see you guys on Sunday. It probably will not be a Friday video unless I decide that I want to talk about something random like I did last week. But I don't have anything in my mind right now. Well, Victoria is a good one. She's a good one. Why she hasn't been brought back too is a question. There's a lot of those Divas era chicks who, could probably make a run or two. You probably could have some fun with them, Candice Michelle but I feel like we see those people all the time. I don't know who you could bring in that would move the needle in terms of a surprise. All right. Oh yeah, Trick Williams needs to be in the Royal Rumble. Absolutely. I don't know how many people are going to be in that building, but I think it's over like 60 or 70,000. All those people chanting "whoop that Trick" will probably give him acne. You know what I'm saying? More than goosebumps. It may give him hives. that shit. His skin might start breaking out. But I want that bad. I need that for him. That'd be great for the young dude. But yeah, I guess I'll talk to you guys later, man. Thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate it, and peace out.